Hello, everybody. Today is November 3rd. It's 8th grade English Language Arts at Hamby Middle School. My name is Mr. Newman, and this is our class recap. Okay, take a minute to write down what you see on your planner. You can pause the video if you need to do so. Okay. Today's quick write is on page W22 in your notebooks, and the question is change positive? If so, why? If not, why not? Discuss using examples from your life. So there is a 6-minute timer right up here. Feel free to pause the video and start that and write for your full 6 minutes. I will pause while I wait. Okay, good job and welcome back. So our goal today, I can identify textual evidence in support of my ideas. So for you to complete today's activity, you're going to need a document open that has your name on it that is called the Lamb to the Slaughter Characterization Questions. It looks like this. And again, in the title, it should have your name. This is what you'll turn in at the end of the day on Thursday. Okay. You will also need the text for Lamb to the Slaughter, which is a short story we're reading by Roald Dahl. Okay. So I read this in class. I'll read the first section and model it for you, and then you'll be able to do the rest on your own. Okay. So Lamb to the Slaughter, written by Roald Dahl in 1953. You'll see on the left side there are numbers over here. Those are the paragraph numbers. So I'm going to start. As I read, I'm going to stop at various points where you see these things that say like stop 1, and then we'll talk about what to do there. So let me start here. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. All right. Let's see. Maybe that'll help. There we go. Okay. The room was warm and clean. The curtains drawn. The 2 table lamps alight. Hers and the one by the empty chair opposite. On the sideboard behind her, 2 tall glasses, soda water, whiskey, fresh ice cubes in the thermos bucket. And by the way, let me pause here. This is a story that was written in the 50s, and it was a time when women's roles were very different from what they are today. So women were expected to be at home, to dote on their husbands. There were very few families where both the men and women worked. And so, what we see here in this first paragraph is kind of this woman getting really ready, waiting on her husband to make him happy, to take care of him when he gets home. Okay. So, fresh ice cubes in the thermos bucket. Mary Maloney was waiting for her husband to come home from work. Now and again she would glance up at the clock, but without anxiety, merely to please herself with the thought that each minute gone by made it nearer the time he would come. There was a slow, smiling air about her, and about everything she did. The drop of a head as she bent over her sewing was curiously tranquil. It's like peaceful. Her skin, for this was her 6th month with child, had acquired a wonderful translucent quality. The mouth was soft, and the eyes, with their new placid look, seemed larger and darker than before. When the clock said 10 minutes to 5, she began to listen. And a few moments later, punctually as always, she heard the tires on the gravel outside and the car door slamming, the footsteps passing the window, the key turning in the lock. She laid aside her sewing, stood up, and went forward to kiss him as he came in. "Hello, darling," she said. "Hello, darling," he answered. She took his coat and hung it in the closet. Then she walked over and made the drinks. A strongish one for him, a weak one for herself. And soon she was back again in her chair with the sewing, and he in the other opposite, holding the tall glass with both hands, rocking it so the ice cubes tinkled against the side. For her, this was always a blissful time of day. She knew he didn't want to speak much until after the first drink was finished, and she on her side was content to sit quietly, enjoying his company after the long hours alone in the house. She loved to luxuriate in the presence of this man, and to feel, almost as a sunbather feels the sun, that warm male glow that came out of him to her when they were alone together. She loved him for the way he sat loosely in a chair, for the way he came in a door, or moved slowly across the room with long strides. She loved the intent, faraway look in his eyes when they rested on her, the funny shape of the mouth, and especially the way he remained silent about his tiredness, sitting still with himself until the whiskey had taken some of it away. So here you see a stop, which means that it's time now to go to the characterization questions. Okay, this first one is done for you, but let's look at the instructions. Discuss the responses in your group and make sure that you answer all the prompts in each question and support each one with textual evidence. Include the paragraph number where your quote is located. Okay, so I have a question here. How would you describe the woman so far? Well, based on what I've seen so far, I think she's a pretty committed housewife, but I also note a detail that she's pregnant. Okay, for this answer to stay, I have to find evidence from the text with the paragraph that supports that I can figure this out. So let's look at the first one. Mary's a committed housewife. Well, I know this thing about, you're supposed to have everything ready and clean when your husband comes home. So when I look at the text, I'm just going to go to the first line. The room was warm and clean. The curtains drawn, so on and so forth. Everything is ready. But I like this one. The room was warm and clean. Okay, this is in paragraph 1. So the way that I record this in my answers is I have a 1, and then in quotation marks, the room was warm and clean. Okay, in paragraph 3, Mary's pregnant, and then I have in paragraph 3, for this was her 6th month with child. Okay, so again, I've found evidence from the text that supports what I'm trying to say. So I can just have the quotes here if the quotes are pretty self-explanatory. Okay, but in this one, for example, in general, how does the woman feel about her husband? I said she really cares, and I want at least one quote, but a strong person is going to write 2 quotes here. So here in paragraph 3, merely to please herself that each minute gone by made it nearer the time he would come. And so I'm going to add some commentary to this. And I'm saying this shows that she's excited for her husband to get home from work. Or in paragraph 7, content to sit quietly enjoying his company also shows that she likes the presence of her husband. Okay? So the key is in my answer, and I'm responding in these 2 boxes, this one and this one. Okay? So when I make a statement in response to this question, I need to make sure that over here I can back my statement up with text from the text. And when I quote something here, it is literally word for word as he would find it. And here we have it here. Merely to please herself with the thought that each minute gone by made it nearer the time that he would come. So, again, the same idea. As you read, for today, we read through our 3rd section, responding to questions 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then remember, at each point that it says stop, that's where you stop reading. So our 3rd section takes us through all the way to stop 3, which is right at paragraph 35. So you want to read through paragraph 35, and then you're answering questions 3 through 7. We will resume in class tomorrow. This is a collaborative group activity, so in class, you're talking with other people, you're sharing things, and tomorrow we're going to add to that more with some reading. All right, good work.